everybody. Good morning. Good morning. If this is your first Locker Room Live, tell me in the chat, because I always like to know who is brand new. So many of us have been here like for ages, and I tend to talk to everybody as if I've known you forever, and I sometimes forget that there are new people on that, let's see, Jennifer Duval, Ricky Berg, 599, Jack, Charla, excellent. So, welcome, Sarah, oh my goodness, all these new people, Joanna, alrighty, excellent. All these new people, I'm delighted to have you. I just have to like keep myself in check sometimes, because I tend to, like I tend to just ramble and like forget that there are new people on. So I'm delighted to have you. Let's go ahead and get started. We've got a lot to cover today, a lot to cover. All good stuff, So, my name is Margie Remmers-Davis. I'm the founder and CEO of Acadian Accounting Education, right there. And this is the live stream that we do every Friday at 11 a.m. inside our free Facebook group called the QBO Gym Locker Room. And if you are on the call live right now, that means you're already in the locker room. I just have to record this little intro for the people who watch us later on YouTube so that they can come join us live. Come join us. This is where the party is. This is where you get to interact and ask questions and all that stuff. So don't be a lurker on YouTube. Come join the locker room and join us live. Alrighty. The chat is blowing up. Yeah. So Joanna is, I assume I'm pronouncing that right. Yeah. It's not a commercial location. It is my house. But we have a studio here. Like the setup actually is pretty ideal. 'Cause we have, the office is actually a separate building from my house. So my house that I live in, when we came and we were looking to move here, and we always knew that I needed an office, and so we were looking, for the office. But then when we came to this property and we found this property has all these outbuildings, and one of the outbuildings, this building actually used to be a chicken barn, and the previous owners had already converted it from a chicken barn into, it was like a man cave kind of situation. So they had already cleaned it and put power in it and all of that stuff. But I put one foot in it and said, oh my gosh, this is my office. And so we converted it it was one big gigantic barn, and then we made it into 4 rooms, added a bathroom. There's like a front office and this studio that we built into it. So it's pretty cool. Alrighty. All right. So as I was saying, let me go ahead and share my screen. Alrighty. So as I was saying, this is our free live stream, the free class that I do every Friday inside of the locker room, which is our free Facebook group. This Facebook group, the QBO Gym Locker Room, is your spot for hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. That's what we do all day, every day, is we do hands-on practice using QuickBooks Online. So if that's what you need, this is the place to do. We're going to do hands-on practice today, on the call today. We're going to do it all together after I'm done with all my intro stuff. Okay. So as a member of the locker room, you get a free QBO Quick Start course. So all of you guys who said you're new, this is your first time, I want to make sure that you can access that QBO Quick Start course. We emailed it to you when you joined. So if you can't find it, if you don't know how to access it, log on to it, all of that good stuff, then email us at support@acadian.com. That's AKADIAN, and we will get you squared away. Thank you, Lindsay. And anyway, so we'll get you squared away. That QBO QuickStart course teaches you how to get your free QuickBooks Online accountant account, what makes that different than a regular QBO subscription that a business would buy, navigation, workflows, terminology, and of course, hands-on practice, because that's what we all do. Over 100 free exercises. They were emailed to you, but you can also get them in the featured section. So here there is a featured tab. You also have these tiles, and notice right here it says over 100 free hands-on exercises. Okay, so that's where you're going to find the link. I am told that because there's so many, there's way more than 100 now, but I'm told that it takes a while to load, and so that is on our list to fix, but it's not a super high priority, which is why I keep mentioning it every week. But when you click that link, it'll be a blank screen at first, and then just give it a second why is this? Okay. Just give it a second to load. So we are looking into ways of breaking it up, but we're strapped right now. We have somebody on maternity leave. We're working on research. We've got a bunch of things. Okay. Let's see. All right. So that is the free hands-on exercises. And then also, you get a free exercise of the week, which is what we cover here on the live stream. So, anyway, so that's what we're going to do today. The free exercise of the week, the exercise of the week program is part of, sorry. Joel told me one time that, Joel, my husband, by the way, he's on the call today, but he told me that I shouldn't look at the comments because it distracts me and it makes it, one time the comments didn't work and the call went so much faster because I didn't get distracted and I didn't get all chatty. So, anyway, yeah, I get distracted easily. That's why I turn off your cameras, because not that I don't love you, I do love you, and I love that you're all here, but holy cow, I get so distracted. Okay, so exercise of the week is part of the program called the QBO Gym. Now, the QBO Gym, everything I've just talked about before, free Facebook group, free exercises, free QBO Quick Start, all of that, free live stream, free exercise a week, all of that stuff, free, come join us, we love you. The QBO Gym is not free. It is a subscription product that you can actually test being a book. I don't know why I can't talk all of a sudden today, where you can get to practice actually being a bookkeeper for a fictitious business owner. So if you have ever said to yourself, oh man, I got certified, but I still don't know I don't feel like I know what I'm doing, or I wish I could get an internship just to see what bookkeeping is really like. I wish I could shadow somebody to see what the bookkeeping, I wish I had somebody to show me what to do. Well, that's why we created the QBO Gym. So in the QBO Gym, you get to practice. It doesn't take you an entire year to get through it. It takes about 42 real-time hours, 3 to 4 hours per month of working on Craig's books, which is about, if it's a small client, that's about what you can expect to work on their books. And it covers the full breadth of all of the features of QBO. So you are well prepared to be to actually know what it's like to be a bookkeeper, and you can feel confident that you are actually that you actually know what you're doing. So the link, Joel will put the link to that for anybody who's interested in the QBO Gym. Joel will put the link to that. You can actually try you can actually try it out for free. We have a 5-day free gym challenge. So if you want to just try out the first month and see, like, get your feet wet, see what it's like, you can do that too. So Joel will put those in the, yeah, okay. So he just put in the free day trial link. Yeah. Okay. So everything that you do in the QBO Gym is linked to your Booksmatch account. And despite the fact that, and oh, I forgot to mention Joanne Hansen, who I think I saw, did I see Joanne on the call today? Is our leader today. But everything in the QBO Gym is, yep, there she is, woohoo! Everything in the QBO Gym is linked to your Booksmatch account. And Booksmatch is a proprietary dashboard that we have created here at Acadian to be able to track the skills that you are practicing while you're working on the gym. Okay, so you can go and see, so Joanne here has verified 416 skills. That means, see, here's the thing, if you go out and you try and get a job as a bookkeeper, nobody really knows that you're any good. Okay, so you can like say, oh yeah, I'm really good. You can say, oh, I've been doing it for years, but this is an opportunity for people to see that, oh yes, actually, you have actually done these actual things. So we have them divided by skill group. So, and you can click on any of the items in the skill group, and then it'll give you breakdown of like what you've actually been working on, and then how you compare to other people in the entire pool. Now, we take all of this information and we actually track 3 specific metrics. That's how you get listed on that page we saw before. This is why Joanne is at top, because her metrics brought her up to be the number 1. It changes all the time. Like it could change in 20 minutes depending on like who's working on it at whatever time. So, but just to tell you about the metrics that we track, there's 3 of them. The first one is just the total number of skills that you have verified at all time, the entire time that you've been with the gym. So Joanne here has verified 416 skills at the current time. Okay. Oh, great. Joanna says, I love learning QBO through the gym. My best learning modality is through my hands. It's the only way I'm going to be able to pass levels 1, 2, and payroll, which is my study goal. Reading about how to do whatever is completely useless for me. Oh, I forgot that I can put this. This is like the whole reason that I am. See, there we go. This is the whole reason I'm using this new system. Anyway, so that's fantastic. But the gym is not related to the certification courses. Okay, so we have certification courses, they're your companion courses to help you learn, and we have hands-on exercises for all that. But the QBO Gym is different. It does not prepare you for the certification, it prepares you for real life, so that as things happen in Craig's business, in the fictitious business owners world, then you get to practice actually doing those things in QBO. All right, so remind me how to, okay, good. Oh no! Oh, right, yes, I forgot because I'm tiny. I forgot because I'm sharing my screen, so I'm tiny. Thank you, Uyi. So you couldn't see what Joanne said. Anyway, but I read it to you. So anyway, so that's the scoop with the certifications and the gym. And let me go back to the metrics. Okay, so knowledge, breadth of like everything your whole time. But we don't want to disadvantage the people who are brand new. Just because you're new, we don't want you to like fall down to the bottom of the list and have to compete against somebody who, now Joanne's fairly new, but we've got some people in who have been with the gym for 2-3 years, however long we've had it. So we wanted to balance it out and be more fair. So we also we also measure speed. Now, speed is not the number of, it's not how fast you get through an exercise, but how many exercises, it's not even exercises, it's how many skills you have verified in within a week. Okay, so those two numbers together combine to create the your rank. Now, the third metric that we measure is consistency, and consistency is actually the most important metric because we worked with a recruiter to help develop this screen, and she developed the whole Booksmatch process, and she said that her most frustrating thing was reaching out to people who already had a job, who weren't available. And she actually wanted us to build in a little check mark so that every week you would say, yes, I'm still looking, yes, I'm still looking, yes, I'm still looking. And we thought that was a little excessive. We thought every week was a little excessive, so we made it every 2 weeks. And we said, instead of just like checking a box, yes, I'm still looking, why don't we actually make them do an exercise, like actually make them upskill? And so that's how the exercise of the week was born. Now, before we get into the exercise of the week, so we just want you to add a skill once every 2 weeks. That keeps your consistency high, and then that factors in all of the other metrics to have your rank. Now, somebody asked, I think it was Sherry. I think Sherry's on the call. So I don't know. Oh, was it? No, it was Patina. So I don't know. Anyway, I don't know how this happened, but somehow some of you guys found out that next week we are going to have a vendor booth at BDO Alliance. Okay, so BDO Alliance, BDO is an accounting company, but they have this thing called the BDO Alliance, which is an organization of approved vendors for all of the 900 accountants. Okay, so 2 of our team members are going to BDO Alliance next week, and they're going to be talking about you. So they're going to be talking about how well trained you are, and they're going to be pulling up these statistics and showing how we track and how we know how good you are. So Patina, I don't know how this conversation happened. I guess Patina's not on today, but I don't even know how this conversation happened. But anyway, she said, would you please, during the live stream, go over how to make yourself look good on Booksmatch, because they may see you guys, and how to actually communicate. Okay, so somebody, let's see. All right, let's see. So Cindy says, I need to update some of my info in my profile under basic, but cannot find a way to edit the email. So yes, you cannot edit the email yourself because it's linked to so many things. If we let you do it, it would break so much. So as Lindsay says here, write to support@acadian.com, and we'll change it for you, change it in all of the right places. Okay, so so you'll notice that here on Joanne's profile, so she has her certifications linked. Okay, I don't know what else she has linked here. No reviews yet. Basic info. Okay, so flexible means that she's open to either W-2 work or contractor work. And if she only wanted W-2 work, she could say part-time or full-time. And if she only wanted contractor work, she could just say contractor. Okay, so then it says where she is, and she could put more information. Joanne, I would recommend that you put some more information like about you right here in this about section. Okay, and make sure you also have your picture. I noticed back on the talent list, it says QBO certifications 5 out of 4. I don't know how that is possible. So I noticed that this morning, and I will like mention that to our programmers. We do have the cleanup certification coming up, and so they prepped for that, even though you can't see it here. So I imagine that's the 4. That's why it's showing 4, but I don't know why it would say 5. So anyway, so yeah, so we'll look into that. Okay, so now you'll notice that I can say contact me. And I'm actually not going to do this with Joanne. I'm going to do this with Lindsay if I can find her, because we already talked about doing this. There's Lindsay. Okay. There's Lindsay. All right. So this is actually a really good example. Look at how Lindsay has a higher number of skills verified than Joanne did, but her speed was lower. So she had only increased 2 skills within a week, whereas Joanne had increased 14 skills in the week. So you'll notice, so that's how it balances out. Let's see. Can I use that for it's hella certified? What? Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm going to go to chat. So I have the opportunity. So we had done some testing, looks like back. Wait, this was yesterday. Who did this? Somebody, I guess somebody on, because I'm in my, oh, Lindsay was testing it out. I didn't know you had access to the demo account that I'm using right now to demo. I guess you do. All right. So anyway, since you've already done it, Lindsay, maybe you could just share your screen. I'm going to stop my share.
All right. So you guys just want to make sure that you are checking this little chat bubble.
Well, first of all, show the open to work little slider thing.
Okay. Yeah, right here, if you turn that, it's white if it's off, and then you'll know that it's off. It's blue if it's turned on. So you want to make sure that's turned on.
Yeah.
And then here on this little briefcase, that's where you can see, I'm not on any watch list because where I was playing with it the other day, but if someone messages you, it automatically puts you on their watch list, or they can just add you to their watch list and not message you. So they have 2 options, the recruiters do.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then this little chat bubble here, it does not notify you whenever, well, we found this out, Margie, because on the study hall, me and Patina were playing with it to see how it works. If you currently have Booksmatch open on your computer and someone messages you right then, it will show a little red dot here, like a notification.
Okay.
If you don't check it though, and you just then exit out of Booksmatch and come back in, then it's gone, the red dot.
Okay.
And
oh, really?
yes, and
Okay.
if you're not on Booksmatch when you get messaged, there
Uh-huh.
never is a red notification. So there's no notifications that are really obvious for people to know they got a message unless they actually go into here and click, and then it will show right here.
Okay.
So if that's something they could, fix, that
Yeah,
would really be helpful.
absolutely.
My suggestion was, I told my study hall students, set an alarm, which is like people said, yeah, this is a little inconvenient, but in whatever Asana, wherever you set up tasks that you do every day, just go in and check it every day. Because some of the students didn't realize the other day when we was talking about it, and they went in and they had some messages, which some of them was the spammy ones, that we thought,
Yeah.
but, and you can mislead that way. That's why Patina wanted to make sure everyone was aware and make sure you're checking that, especially after this conference.
Yeah. Okay. So,
you click on it and this is what it looks like. So,
yeah. So Martin Final is the name of my fake admin account that I, okay. All right. Excellent. So, Lindsay, if you could like write up a little thing about, like all of those little things, like the little red dot doesn't work, or you don't know, and all of that, and message me those things. I
Okay.
will send them to the developers, and they
Okay.
can fix them. I mean, I think you should also get an email if somebody's
Yeah, and
messaging you, or like all
yeah,
of that
that
stuff.
that would be good, but you don't get any email or anything
Yeah,
either.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, write all of those up, and we'll pass them over to the developers. Like,
And I don't know if they can also, but there's no way to delete messages.
okay,
So I don't know if that's something they could do, because that was a question somebody asked me about in the study hall. How do you delete messages? Well, there's no, because you can't right click. That's just the normal
yeah,
menu.
yeah, yeah,
And there's no way to delete them. So like those
okay,
ones that are scams, people probably want to
yeah,
delete those. Now you can if you're on a watch list. See, now
uh-huh.
I am, because did you push something to add
I
me?
did, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
I did while we were talking just now.
Okay. And so that's what it looks like whenever they add you. And then
Uh-huh,
um you can click this thing if you want to like remove yourself for some reason. So like if they're
uh-huh,
on a watch list, if that to that scammy one or whatever, you can
yeah,
remove yourself.
yeah,
Um and then I wonder if, okay, hang on. I was gonna say when I was in the recruiter one, they can move.
uh-huh,
Oh, I can move it too
yeah,
over to
yeah,
like, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
So yeah.
yeah, yeah. We put all of that stuff in, and then we just never beefed it up and did huge amounts of training because we didn't have a whole lot of people using it yet.
Hmm.
So, anyway, all right, cool. Well, thank you so much for
You're welcome.
showing that up, and we'll
People are
see what
asking about, is
happens.
it free to use? So you might elaborate on that
No.
one.
Yeah. 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 So, yeah, go ahead and stop your screen share so that I can.
Right.
There we go. And I'm going to turn your camera off. Oh, no, I can't. Oh, yeah. Okay. There we go. All right. So it's just me. Not that I want it to be all about me, but that's. All right. So thank you, Lindsay. All right. So just to recap, Booksmatch is our proprietary platform. It is how you access your courses. So everybody gets a Booksmatch account, okay? Everybody with an Acadian course has a Booksmatch account. But you can only turn on all of the stuff that we were just talking about if you have the QBO Gym. So it's a feature of the QBO Gym to show off your skills that you have uploaded, like that you've done. So that's what Booksmatch is. So those of you who are in the gym already, clean up your profile, turn on open to work if you're open to work, and hopefully you guys will get some eyeballs at the thing next week. Okay, let's see. More so, Margie is getting the email related to updating our contact form, the back end. I don't know what you're saying there. Let's see. What else? I enjoy Lindsay's accent on the daily. She's the best. She is awesome. Yes. Charla is asking, did I hear you say that recruiters use this platform to locate bookkeepers? Yes. So when we first released, and I do want to get to the exercise that we're going to do today. It's been a lot of talking. We have got at the exercise, and guys, we also have a drawing today. So we've got to get through a lot of stuff. But yes. So when we first released Booksmatch, I talked about how there were three different buckets. So the first bucket is the easiest ones to go after were people who had job postings on Monster and Indeed. So we set up this huge campaign to go and contact everybody that had a bookkeeper listing on Monster our Indeed and we redirected them. We said, hey, we've got this platform, like come look at our platform. And we had people reach out, and the feedback that we got from you guys was that these are jobs, the people that are contacting me are for jobs, and I don't want a job. I want to be a freelancer. I want to like own my own business kind of stuff. So we stopped that campaign until we're going to go back to it. But we in order to do that, we need to change the filtering a little bit so that they know when they go in, like you already are identifying, as I said earlier, whether you want a W-2 job or a contract job. But we want to eliminate so that the contract people are filtered out if they come through that way. Okay. Then the second group of people that we went to was the accounting firms. We wanted the accounting firms to know that here, look, we have this pool of already trained bookkeepers. So when you need to hire somebody, you can do that. And what we found was that what the accounting firms were saying was that they were more interested in you knowing bookkeeping and accounting principles than they were in you knowing QBO. So yes, QBO is helpful, but I'm not going to hire somebody based on QBO. I want them to know bookkeeping and accounting. And that's why we developed the bookkeeping fast track, which is what our exercise comes from today. So I'll talk about that more. But so that's why we developed the bookkeeping fast track. So we're still in that process. And then the final group that we're going to be starting to talk to more this year. This was the presentation that I did in San Diego last weekend. That's what this was, is to talk to the small business owners and the entrepreneurs who also are hiring bookkeepers. So we've got a lot of stuff, but that's what's happening. So Cindy says, well, Lindsay's answered it already, but Cindy says, how does our profile look to prospective clients? Is there a way to view that, or does it look just like it appears to us on Booksmatch? It's almost identical to what you actually see. It's almost identical. It's just like the buttons are different. So it's like add to watch list or contact, that kind of stuff. Okay, should we actually do an exercise, guys? Like that's what we're here to do. I started by saying hands-on practice is what we're all about, but we haven't done any hands-on practice. So let's do that. Let's get started. So as I mentioned, okay, I got to share this other way because when I shared that way, it was not working. Okay. So, alrighty. So as I mentioned, the reason that we have an exercise of the week is so that you have an opportunity to keep those skill points, to have like something to be working on every week. Really, to keep your consistency high, you only need to do it every other week, but we're here to help you every week. We give you a new exercise, something that you can do. Now, if you are subscribed to the QBO Gym, the exercise of the week will unlock when you have earned 250 points, okay? The QBO Gym is all, I didn't mention this earlier, but it's all gamified. So when I built it, my dream was that it'd be like Duolingo for bookkeepers. And so it's all gamified. There's dings and whistles and badges and woohoos and celebrations, like all sorts of fun stuff. And as you go through it, you earn points. You can check your points at any time by clicking this little down arrow or this little arrow. It's not a down arrow, it's an up arrow. Pull that drawer up and it'll tell you how many points you have accumulated, okay? These points are not the same as the number of skills in Booksmatch. It's separate. Okay, so check there to see how many points you have. Once you have 250 points, then the exercise of the week will unlock for you. Okay, and yes, a common question everyone says, do I have all the past exercise of the weeks? Yes, you have everything. Everything. So you have so much practice. So much practice. Who was saying? Joanna, I think, was saying, like, this is how I learn hands-on. Yes, that's why our company exists. Okay. So you have the exercise of the week once it's 250 points. If you have the exercise of the week unlocked, then for today, you're going to click, uh-oh. There it is. Phew, for a minute I thought today's wasn't on there. You want to make sure and go to this link right here where it says click here to learn about expenses versus COGS. That's what we're talking about today. Okay, so you want to click this link because that's what's going to give you Booksmatch credit. Everyone else, even if you don't have exercise of the week or you're not subscribed to the gym at all, then you can use the link that Joel just posted in the chat. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So he's got the link there. Everybody's got the link. If you're watching on YouTube, come join the locker room because that's how you get the link and you can actually do this on your own time. Okay. So what we're going to be talking about today is expenses versus COGS. Now, this is a topic. The live stream topics rotate every month, and this is the first week. So we're talking about a foundational bookkeeping topic, okay? And this is something we cover extensively in Bookkeeping Fast Track. I mentioned earlier that actually, let me stop the screen share because sometimes I just got to look at you. Okay, so here's Bookkeeping Fast Track. I mentioned earlier that when we started calling accounting firms, and by the way, guys, like we hired a full-time employee whose entire job is to call accounting firms. Okay, so like that's what he did. Like that's how we discovered that this was the greater need, was that they were just so frustrated with bookkeepers who didn't know about accounting, who didn't understand those basic foundational principles, that they would get the books and they would have to spend all this time cleaning them up, redoing them. And if you listen to, I did like an interview, I've done several interviews with accountants, but like the thing is that they don't trust bookkeepers. The accountants don't trust bookkeepers because they've seen so many bad bookkeepers. So that's why we developed Fast Track. So if you want to become a CPA's best friend, if you want to like get in good with an accountant so that they will love you and refer you, then that's why you need Bookkeeping Fast Track. Okay, so that's what today's lesson, always the first of the month, is a topic that we talk about in Bookkeeping Fast Track. Okay, so Joel, I think we'll do you have a link to Fast Track? You should put that in that chat too, if anybody wants to find out more about that. Okay, let me go back to the screen share and share. Okay, so let's talk about expenses and expenses versus COGS. Now, not everything. Well, here's the scenario for our exercise today. You've recently started working with Craig and see that he has several accounts set up as expenses that really should be COGS. Let's fix one of them, okay? So let's talk about, I'm going to stop my screen share again because I know when I am watching a thing, like sometimes if the presenter is just like really tiny, it's hard to follow along, okay? So let's talk for a minute about expenses versus COGS. So expenses are things that the business requires in order to run the business. COGS, or cost of goods sold, are things that are required to provide the product or service that the business sells. Okay, so typical expenses are office supplies, employee wages is an expense, utilities, that's an expense. Okay. Joanna, Joel just put it right above your comment. It's for some reason the link still says accelerator, but yeah. Okay. Yeah, we had to, it was called Bookkeeping Accelerator, but then we had to change it to Bookkeeping Fast Track, legal issues. Anyway, so my point is we were talking about expenses. Okay, so expenses are anything that anything that it is required to run the business. So office supplies, wages, utilities, that kind of stuff, insurance, like those kinds of things that are general operating expenses. Those are an expense type of account. If you are running, if you are selling a thing, okay, so let's say you sell t-shirts, okay, let's say you buy t-shirts, you decorate them, and then you resell them, okay, so the t-shirts, the supplies to decorate them, okay, those are what's called cost of goods sold, okay, and the cost of goods sold and the expenses for the business have to be tracked separately. Not only does that help you understand your profit and your cash flow and all of that stuff, but it's important for taxes, because for taxes they have to be recorded separately. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again. We're going to go off script a little bit from the exercise itself. This is why it's so good to be on live with me, because if you're just doing the exercise on your own, you don't get all this juicy stuff. So one of the things that we talk about in Bookkeeping Fast Track is adjusting the chart of accounts to match the tax form that the accountant needs to prepare. Okay, if you do that, if you organize the chart of accounts and present the numbers and the finances in a way to the accountant, so they don't have to hunt and peck for things, they don't have to do math, they can just plug in the numbers, verify everything, then they're gonna love you. We go deep into this, and we talk about different entities, we talk about different tax forms, but one of the most common forms is the Schedule C. So the Schedule C is what a sole proprietor would file with their 1040 at tax time. Deb's question, stuff you would still need if you switched from selling widgets to selling massages would be expenses then. Yes, that's a great way to put it, Deb. If you would still need to do it, if you totally changed what you're selling, then yes, that's a good way to think of it. Okay, so you can find these tax forms just by going to Google. So you can just type in Schedule C. There is always on the IRS, on irs.gov, for every tax form, there's two files. One is the form itself, and one is the instructions for the form. So that's what the about is, the instructions. And then here is the actual form. Okay. So let's take a look at this actual form. Okay. So you'll notice right away, part 1 is income. Part 2 is expenses, right? That's very similar to a profit and loss, right? You run a profit and loss, and you have it split out by income and expenses, okay? Notice the expenses for Schedule C are very specific. You have to, here's advertising, car and truck expenses, commissions and fees, contract labor, all sorts of things, travel and meals, utilities, things like that, okay? So those are what are called OPEX, or general operating expenses. Operating expenses, OPEX. Okay. So those are the expenses. Then we have up at the top under income is this little line that says cost of goods sold. So it actually, even though it's a cost to the business, it's used to calculate the gross income. Okay, so it's up here in the income section, not down here. And then you'll notice cost of goods sold from line 42, that's actually on a separate page. So if I go to here, then I have part 3, and here's all of the stuff that you have to calculate. So inventory, cost of goods sold is a huge thing when it comes to inventory. Then we have purchases less cost items withdrawn for personal use. You know, obviously you're not supposed to have personal use items and business items together. Then we have cost of labor. So if you have an employee, you notice there was wages on that other screen too, right? But if you have an employee who only works on preparing the stuff that's going to be sold, well, then their wage, like what you're paying them, is actually a cost of goods sold, not an expense, like not a wages expense. Okay. Then we have materials and supplies. You calculate all of this. Here's line 42. And then that's what they put back here on line 4. Okay. So that's why it's really important that when you are doing your bookkeeping and you're organizing everything, that you track separately the expenses for the business versus the expenses that are specifically related to whatever you are producing. Okay. All right. So that's why we're doing this. All right. So let's go back and do our exercise. Okay. Whoops, not that one, this one. Okay. All right. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go to the sample company. Now, I have instructions here on how to get to the sample company from your QBO account. That's QBO Accountant's account. If you don't know what that is, it's all in the QBO Quick course, and how to get your accountant account, how it's different, all of that good stuff. Okay, so we're going to start. So we're going to go to the sample company. We have here at Acadian developed a quick link so that you don't actually have to go into your account in order to pull up the sample company. And the way you do that is you just go to acadian.com/QBOA. That's QuickBooks Online Accountant. And Joel did put that in the link in the chat earlier, but maybe you could put it in again so it's more recent if people need it. Okay, I'm going to confirm that I'm not a robot. Stacy just did this exercise in Fast Track. That's awesome. This is a simplified version of it. The one in Fast Track is much too complicated for the live stream. This is a simplified version of it, but that's awesome. Okay, so yeah, so Joel put it in again, the link. All right, so now this is our sample company. So now I'm going to go back to the exercise. Why does that little, okay, go away. All right, now you'll notice that when I am on my exercise, okay, that there is this little guide me button, okay? We create all of our exercises using a software called Scribe. And Scribe provides a Google Chrome extension that you can plug in. So if you go to your Chrome web store, so you click this little icon and then select Manage Extensions and go to the Chrome web store. You can download this extension called Scribe, AI documentation, etc. It's got this little symbol. And Joel put in earlier, maybe you could do it again, put in the link on how to do this, how how to install it in your Google Chrome and all of that stuff. When you have that installed and you have the sample company open, then when you're on the exercise, you'll have this little guide me button. You won't have a button here at all if you don't have it. Okay, so when you click guide me, and then I'm going to click confirm. Okay, magic. So now we have the exercise on the right hand side and the sample company on the left hand side. Okay, so now we can see them all together and work through it. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to run the profit and loss. Remember, we're talking about expenses here. So income and expenses are on the profit and loss report. Okay, so we're going to start by running the profit and loss so we can see what's wrong with it. On the left nav bar, hover over reports and click standard reports. Then we're going to click profit and loss. Okay, now here's a little description of what I just said about expenses, general operating expenses versus cost of goods sold. All right, so now if I look at this, so it's organized with income first, and here's in the sample company, there's just one cost of goods sold account, and then here is all sorts of things that shouldn't be there. Okay, so the primary problem is these job expenses. Okay, these job expenses, these are specifically related to Craig's landscaping business. Like, he only is doing these things, or he's only buying these things because of the work that he's doing for his customers. So because of that, they are cost of goods sold. They're not expenses to the business. Okay, so all of these, and then this one right here, equipment rental. Well, it depends on what equipment is being rented. If you're renting a copier for the office, well, that's going to be a general operating expense. But if you're renting a backhoe to go, dig dirt at the job site, well, that's going to be a cost. That's going to be a cost of goods sold. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to move this equipment rental. We're going to make it actually a COGS account. Okay. Notice again, COGS is separate up here, right, between the income and the expenses section. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to the chart of accounts. We're going to do that by clicking the gear icon and selecting chart of accounts. Okay. The chart of accounts is the backbone of your accounting system. Make sure that understand the chart of accounts. This is where this is the heart of the accounting system. Is that, I said backbone earlier, whatever organ you want to use, like whatever body part, it's like the main thing, okay, is the chart of accounts. Okay, so here we have all of our accounts. This is new, in case you missed it. This is new on the chart of accounts. Is this little BAL, means shows up on the balance sheet, that type of account. This P&L stands for profit and loss, means this type of account shows up on the profit and loss. Okay, so that's what we're going to look for. Okay, so we're going to look for, here is the materials one. Now, in Bookkeeping Fast Track, who was it that said? Stacy. In Bookkeeping Fast Track, we teach you how to move all of this to COGS. It's very complicated because there's all these sub accounts. We're not doing that today. What we're going to do is we're just going to focus on this equipment rental one. Sorry, these were the income accounts, but it's the same for the job expenses. Okay. All right, job materials, yeah, all of that stuff. In Fast Track, you get an opportunity to like clean this up royally, okay? But for today, we're just gonna focus on equipment rental because it's not a sub-account of anything else. Again, if you have to talk to your business owner, like you have to understand their business and what's happening and what they have. If they're renting a copier for the office, then that is then that's a general expense, just like it's here, correct. But if it's something that they're actually going to use on the job site, that needs to be cost of goods sold. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this arrow and select edit. Getting ahead of myself here. Okay, so that was step 6. Okay, now notice right now this equipment, it's an expenses type account and the detail type is equipment rental. Okay, so that may, oh wait, did I select the wrong one? Sorry, hold on. I think there's 2, I didn't even realize this. I think there are 2 equipment rentals in, I should change the exercise so that it's more clear. We want the equipment rental that is not a sub-account of anything. Okay, see here, look, here's equipment rental that's under job expenses. And then there's this other equipment rental that's not a sub-account. This is the one we want. I'll take a look at that. Lindsay, if you could, Lindsay, if you could take a look at that, that'd be great. And just like make sure that the exercise is clear, that which one we're talking about. That would be great. Okay. So anyway, so equipment rental expenses, yeah, we don't want the one that's a sub-account, okay? What we want to do is we want to try and make this a sub-account of COGS. So let's check the box, okay? So that's step 7, okay? And then here's the parent account. We want that parent account to be our COGS, remember, cost of goods sold, okay? So here is our list of accounts, and these are all expense accounts. We can't make it a parent, we can't make it a sub account of COGS, okay, because the account type isn't COGS. So in order to do this, we're first going to have to change the account type. Okay, so I'm going to click account type. We're in step 8, click account type, and we're going to go to cost of goods sold, and I'm going to get this error message. Okay, the error message says changing the type or detail type of an account may affect your accounting and reporting. Are you sure you want to do this? Yes, we're sure. Yes, we're sure. Of course, in a real life scenario, you would always want to make sure that it's not going to mess up anything that the accountant has already done. But chances are they're going to love you for it. They're not going to care. Okay? All right, so are you sure you want to do this? Yes. All right, so now the account type has changed to cost of goods sold. The detail type is, we're going to change that to equipment rental. Okay, this says cost of service, COS, cost of service, that's fine. You can't change the detail types anyway, it's like pre-programmed into QBO, so that's fine. Okay, so now under parent account, let's see what we can do. Now there's cost of goods sold. Okay, all right, and then we're going to click save. We look at the list again. Notice it says cost of goods sold and equipment rental is a sub-account of that, okay? And then let's take a look at the profit and loss again to see how it's changed. So I'm going to click this button. This isn't in the exercise. I just am doing this so you can see better, okay? So click there. Now I'm going to go to reports, standard reports, profit and loss. And so here we have our cost of goods sold, and we have equipment rental now as a sub-account of that, okay? So one of the things that and that's the end of the exercise, okay. So one of the things that I did not realize before I got into this business is when I thought of an accountant, I just always thought of taxes, a tax preparer. I thought that's what the accountants did, like I thought that was the job. But it turns out that there are so many different specialties for accounting, okay? And one of those types of specialties is management accounting. Management accounting is different than tax preparers. So what we just talked about was having the expenses separated from the COGS for the purposes of tax, right? And I talked about how this is going to make the accountant that you pass these books on to so happy, because they're going to be like, oh my gosh, you're like, how to separate these, how to what a good bookkeeper you are. So we just talked about that. But management accountants look at the books differently. Now, do you still have to prepare them for tax purposes? Absolutely, you have to keep that in mind. But a management accountant is going to take a deeper dive look at that cost of goods sold and have sub-accounts and different things that you're tracking. You just have to be in conversation with whoever else is looking at the books. Like you as the bookkeeper are the one that is implementing and making it happen, okay? But the accountant is the one that is strategizing, advising, and they're going to want to see the books in a certain way. So you have to have that relationship with the accountant so that you can prepare the books in the way that it's going to make their job easier. Everything that we do, and oh my gosh, in Fast Track, those of you who are in Fast Track, you can tell me how many times do I say in the course, your job is to make the accountant's job easier. And I will add on to that, your job is to make the business owner's job easier. You should not be adding complexity. You should be making it easy for everybody else to do their job and see the numbers in the way that they need to see them. That's what's going to make you super, super valuable. Okay. All right, let me see the let's see. Let me see the chat. Looks like you couldn't see me. All right. Laura, chart of accounts is the skeleton of the living company. Yes, that's a good way to put it. So for a farm, renting equipment to harvest a crop, that would be COGS. Yes, I would say so, but I am not a tax advisor, so make sure you ask whoever you're preparing the books for, make sure you ask them. I mean, not the business owner. The business owner doesn't know, but but yeah. And if you're in Fast Track, you can get on Fast Track Live, or you can ask Jane. Jane Adams is an EA enrolled agent, and she is in with the Fast Track students. She has a weekly call. Fast Track Live, which is currently, it won't always be, but it is currently included with the course, where you can get on a Zoom call like this with her to talk about nitty-gritty details like that. Okay. Jack, I'm going to give you probably the same thing. If I'm paying for the QBO subscription on behalf of client, would that be considered cost of service? Yes, I believe so. Again, that's a question for Jane or whomever the accountant is that you're passing it on to. But my initial looking at that would be yes. Oh, Jane's on here. Yay, Jane. Thank you. Yes. So she said yes. I think she was talking about Jack's question. Okay. Brenda says, you say it all the time, but the best part is you teach us how to do it. Awesome. Yes, she's talking about when I say all the time, your job is to make the accountant's job easier. Let's see. Yes, Laura says, we need to be in a three-way conversation with the business owner and their accountant. Yes. That doesn't necessarily mean you're on a three-way call with them. It just means that you're in communication. Like, it should be all three of you working together to help the business owner be successful. All right. If you're just like an admin person in the background, then you're totally replaceable. Okay, you're replaceable with AI, you're replaceable with an offshore person that's going to charge $9 an hour. Okay, but if you are actively engaged in guiding and helping the business owner, and then it's a whole different ballgame, it's a whole different conversation, and they can see your value. Both the accountant and the business owner will be able to see your value when you do that. Okay, all right, so we have a drawing today. I'm going to do that first, and then I'm going to be talking, and then I will wrap up by talking about marketing. All right. So the drawing is for, oh, let me close this. I know I'm not sharing my screen yet. I just got to get set up here. Okay. So every month, the first Friday of the month, unless it's the first, I think sometimes we have not done it if it's like the actual first because we need like time, but I don't know. We're doing things differently now, so maybe we are doing it on the first. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's usually the first Friday of the month. We do a drawing. Everybody who is in the QBO Gym, whenever you earn a badge. Okay, so I mentioned earlier that the QBO Gym is fully gamified. My vision was that it was like Duolingo for bookkeepers. It's not like Duolingo for bookkeepers, but that was still my vision. So it's all like gamified and whistles and woohoo. And every month that you complete, you earn a badge. And every time that you earn the badge, you have an opportunity to be entered into our drawing for the month. So as I mentioned, it takes 42 real-time hours to get through the whole year's worth of content. And so you could potentially have 12 entries into the drawing. I noticed that Holly, which I haven't seen her in the chat, so I don't know if she's on here live, but you'll see Holly has several entries. And it just means that that person got through a month of content. And then to be entered in the drawing, you post in the Facebook group. We give you the link where to post your ahas for the month. So I'm going to share my screen now. And okay. All right. So inside the locker room, when you go to guides, here we have a post for every month of the gym. So when you leave a comment on these posts, okay, so here's February, and you leave a comment telling us your ahas, what you liked best about this month. So you can see in February, and this, by the way, is the month that you get free if you do the gym challenge. So Joel posted that earlier, but maybe you could post it again, Joel, if anybody wants to do the gym challenge, just get a feel for it. These are all of the things that you learn how to do in the month of February. Record a sales receipt, record a PayPal sale, apply check payments. It's all about estimates and purchase orders and all this stuff. You actually reconcile the bank account, you run reports, all this good stuff, okay? And then at the end of the month, once you've done everything, you earn the badge, and then that badge gives you the opportunity to put to post your aha, tell us what you loved. So Brenda says, I love being able to get some practice in with more of real world type situations. I loved learning the process of starting an estimate and then using that to create a purchase order, then the expense, then the partial invoice. Thanks for a great practice program. Holly says, thank you, Acadian Accounting Gym. I wouldn't be here where I am today in my bookkeeping journey if I hadn't signed up for the gym. Aha moment, I can process bank feed transactions and reconcile a bank account without revisiting year one in the gym. I have it down. So Holly's apparently working on year two. I don't typically talk about year two because the amount of time that it takes you to do year two varies based on like how well you've absorbed year one. But yes, you get year one, you get 2 years, and at the end of each year, you also get a certificate saying that you have a full year of experience. So yeah, for all of you saying, oh, I can't get a job without experience, well, now you can say, I do have experience. So Julia says, I found the bank feed and reconciling to be interesting in this section. I love how everything is broken down step by step. Let's pick another month. Let's see. Let's do September. Let's see what people are saying about September. Where'd it go? Oh, I guess I have to scroll. Bum, bum, bum. I have to scroll a lot to get to September. Okay. Here's September. Oh, we've only got one entry for September. Whoop. No, that's John. Where is my September? Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go. September. Ooh, here's another one from Holly. Woohoo! This month in year 2 of the gym, September, I was extremely excited about running reports. Acadian Accounting provided a comprehensive, in-depth analysis of the P&L report. When I say an in-depth analysis, I mean they highlighted issues in Craig's reports that require attention, similar to what you would examine when doing a cleanup job. The information was so beneficial for anyone diagnosing problems in a client's books or doing cleanup. I'm beyond grateful. Thank you again, Acadian Accounting Education. All right, awesome. So that's how you get entered in the drawing. Again, for every badge that you earn, you have the opportunity to leave an aha, and then everybody that leaves an aha. And I do I draw one name for every 25 of them. And today we have 26, so I will be doing one drawing. Holly's in there a lot. Holly is in there a lot. We've got several people, D a couple of times, so we will see who is the winner. Oh, Holly is here. Oh, Holly, so many entries. Man, if you don't win, I don't know. But it's just the spinner. I don't know. I can't control it. That's why I don't use the spinner. And by the way, the prize for the drawing is 1 month free of the gym. Okay, so however much you're paying for it, we're gonna extend your subscription. I can't remember how it works. Anyway, we extend your subscription 1 month, so there's like not a charge next month or something like that. And if it's a year, then you get an extra month of the year. I can't remember the details, but anyway, all right, let's go. So exciting. Boom, 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 boom. Carrie Wharf. All right. Congratulations, Carrie. Lindsay, will you write that down and send it to Anthony to take care of? Oh my gosh. Holly, I can't believe there are so many entries. But that's the way that it happens. Alrighty. So now let's talk about, we're going to wrap up this call and talk about marketing, because let me go back to this one. Okay. Well, actually, I'm going to stop the share, because sometimes I got to look at you face to face. We are not a marketing company. We are an accounting education company. But so I know that so many of you, marketing is just on your mind all the time. How do we get clients? How do we get clients? How do I get clients? And we're not a marketing company. I keep saying that we'll never be a marketing company, but I don't know, like there's just so much demand, like so many of you want to know about marketing. And so we have a new marketing director here at Acadian, and he said, well, I can teach on marketing. So I was like, well, okay then. So we're going to be doing a free webinar on May 8th. So next Thursday, it's going to be next Thursday night at 7 p.m. Eastern. And Mike is going to just share, his tricks and tips. He said I could do one every month. That's what he said. It's like, there's so much to talk about. He said, there's so much to talk about. I could get on, I could talk to your students all day long. So this is going to be like the first of many accounting marketing webinars that we're going to be doing. So if you got the newsletter this morning, there was a link. I also, Joel, I gave you the link if you could put it in. If you guys want to just add it to your calendar. If you want to learn about, like, we don't sell any marketing courses. So this is not one of those webinars where we're going to like try and sell you a marketing course, because we don't make any marketing courses. So, all right. So yeah, so Joel, if you could put that in the chat if you want to sign up for that, for folks that want to sign up for that, okay? I have not seen the outline, so I don't know precisely. I mean, like, I will be there. It will be a conversation similar to how we did a few weeks ago. I had a conversation with Andrew. So like, I'll be there, but he's really leading it, and I'll just be there to like ask questions and that kind of stuff. So, all right, thank you, Lindsay. Yeah, Joel, it's on Lindsay put it in, or she put in the big link from that's the newsletter link, but it's in the it's in the planner. It's just on the main page, not on the links page. So anyway, so that's happening. Next Thursday. Also, with your membership in the QBO Gym, we provide marketing prompts, and here's why. Yeah, there it is. Thank you, Joel. Here's why I started doing marketing prompts in the gym, because I kept hearing people say, I know I'm supposed to post on social media, but I don't know what to say. And I just kept thinking, how do you not know what to say? Like, you're learning something new every day. Like, every day that you're in the gym, you're learning something new. Remember when I showed you like the list of things every month that you learned in the gym? Like, every single one of those is a topic that you could be posting about, in social media. The whole point is for you to demonstrate your expertise and help people come to know, like, and trust you. You have to remember that when you want to be somebody's bookkeeper, like, their money, it's like they're handing over their baby to you, okay? Like, you wouldn't, as a baby, I mean, you wouldn't just hand over your baby to a random person that you met on the internet, right? Like, you would want to develop some kind of a relationship of trust with this person. You would want to know that this person is, trustworthy and knowledgeable and knows what they're talking about, right? And that you can trust them with your baby. Like, that's how people feel about is there a huge need for bookkeepers? Yes, but there is also a huge trust barrier, okay? It's a huge trust barrier between you and the business owner, okay? Because the business owner's like, oh, I've got my finances here, and I can't just turn them over to just anybody, right? Same, there's a huge trust barrier with the accountants, because the accountants, if you listen to my conversations with Andrew, like as I said earlier, like they don't trust you. They've seen too much bad bookkeeping. Okay, so you have to demonstrate that you are actually head and shoulders above everybody else, that you actually know what you're doing, that you actually are good, and that you are trustworthy, and that you can communicate. Okay, you have to demonstrate all of that before anybody will hire you. You can't expect to get hired and then say, oh, and now I'm going to demonstrate that I'm really good. No, like you have to demonstrate that you're good and that you know what you're talking about before that. That's why you post on social media, is to just demonstrate. This is why you post on social media, you meet people in person, you get in front of people, whether it is on YouTube or a LinkedIn post or Alignables becoming really popular, okay, whatever. You have to demonstrate value to society before anybody will pay attention to you and look at you, okay? So, anyway, so that's why we have the marketing prompts. It's like you can't think of it, you can't think of what to say yourself, no problem. We'll give you what to say, but you have to get out and say it. You have to step up. You have to say, yes, I am an expert. And maybe you don't feel like you're an expert in everything, but you could be an expert in just this one thing, right? As you go through it, you learned, oh, I learned this thing, now I know. What is that phrase they always say? The man with one eye leads the people who are blind. Like you only have to be able to see through one eye to lead blind people. Like it's like something, I don't know, what, some phrase like that, right? So, so if you know a little bit more than them, people are going to turn to you as a trusted expert. That's why we post on social media, okay? But you can't just post on social media randomly. You have to be continually growing your network of eyeballs that are seeing what you're posting, okay? That's what marketing is just eyeballs. It's like getting the most qualified people to look at what you are doing so that you can develop that relationship of trust, okay? Now, as you are working through the gym, you earn marketing prompts, okay? So as you learn like this one thing, somebody I read earlier set in their aha that they left, talked about, oh, I'm so grateful that I learned estimates, okay? So that's one of the things. You learn estimates. And then now you know about estimates, and now we give you some marketing prompts to be able to go out and say, hey, business owner, like, do you use estimates? Do you know how to use QBO for estimates? Well, I do. So anyway, so in the gym, you earn the marketing prompts, but for the exercise of the week, we actually give you one marketing prompt per exercise, okay? So this is what you just learned. This is how you can talk about it, okay? And Joel has already posted it in the chat, but I will go ahead and I will go ahead and share my screen. What's happening here? Okay, so here is what I wrote. Now, the last couple of weeks, I don't know how, maybe those of you guys who've been around for a while can tell me, like I started using ChatGPT to write these marketing prompts. This one today, I wrote myself, and you'll notice it's like the same as what you got in the email, the agenda email, and what I posted on in the Facebook group. That's called repurposing. You don't have to write something new every time. Anyway, so you learned about expenses versus COGS. Here's a sample post, QBO Quick Tip. Did you know that not all expenses are created equal? Here's the deal. Some expenses reflect the general operating of the business, and others are directly related to the goods and services sold. They need to be recorded differently and reported in different places on the tax return. Need some help figuring out which is which? Shoot me a DM. You got this. Okay? That's all it is. That's just a little example of the type of thing that you can say. You could create a loom just showing in QuickBooks Online the exact exercise. I wouldn't show them the exercise, but you can just create a loom going through the exercise. Hey guys, thought you might want to know if you have an account that needs to be in COGS. Oh, by the way, do you know the difference of COGS? Teach a little thing with a loom, or go on YouTube, or write an article, or post a little QBO Quick Tip, like whatever it is, just to keep your little flag flying so people know that you are an expert. Okay, that is all we are going to cover today. Let's see. Deb says, well, there were days that I looked for a nice group of gypsies to sell my toddler. They were much more dangerous teens, though. Uyi is saying, yay, alignable. She is. Oh, yeah, thank you, Uyi. In a blind man's country, the one-eyed man is king. There you go. That's it is. A lot of us are women here, so queen. All right, let's see. Laura says, posting is practicing your communication about what we do. Being technical with bookkeeping, we need to practice communicating that info to non-technical people. Laura, that is beautiful. Yes, that is exactly right. That is exactly right. Corey has a great example of that happening where she had a quote, a cleanup quote for a mechanic. And she sent him the quote, and then he called her, and she said, like, her heart beat a little bit, and because he called her and she wasn't quite sure, and it was a big quote. I think it was like, I don't know, it was definitely 5 figures. I want to say it was like $25,000, but maybe it wasn't that high. I don't know. And he said, that he felt like the price was a little high and he didn't know. And she said, listen, she said, you're a mechanic. You tell people all the time that they have to change their oil. And if they don't change their oil, they're going to have to replace the engine. And she said, you have not been changing your oil, and now you need to replace the engine. And he was like, got it. And he signed the check, signed up, signed up for it. So yes, you have to be able to talk. And that's another thing, by the way. There was a post I saw in one of the groups where a dentist, she'd gotten a lead from a dentist office. And she didn't know anything about dental bookkeeping. So she spent some time with ChatGPT saying, what do I need to know about dental bookkeeping? Like what are the flags, what makes it special, etc. And so then she was armed to get on have this conversation with the dentist. And the guy said, the dentist said that he immediately hired her. He said, I had like 5 other people I was going to interview, but clearly you know about dentistry, so yes, we're going to work with you. So yeah, utilize ChatGPT. Okay. All right. Let's see. Lindsay says, yes, making a little video would be an incredible way, I think you meant to say, to make yourself stand out. That's how, you guys all know Hector Garcia. He's like the king of QBO on YouTube. It's just because he was first. And that he recognized that training was a great way to get people into his business. And so that's what he started doing. Okay. Brenda says, I love ChatGPT. Yes, all day long. Like I can't even live without ChatGPT. How did I ever live without ChatGPT? All right, Candace says, oh, I think that is not to be shared. Sorry. I don't know what that was, but I think that was related to something else. Okay, so I think we're good to go, folks. I have got a busy day. Immediately after this, I'm going to be filming my next episode of the UQB podcast, Unofficial QuickBooks Accountants podcast with Alicia Katz-Pollock. If you guys are not listening to that, you should be. It's like an amazing, not just my episodes, but it's such a great podcast to learn about all things Intuit and QuickBooks Online from the people who are doing it, not corporate, not like what Intuit wants you to know, but like real on the ground stuff. So typically I record I'm a co-host and I do a specific segment, usually once a month, which is about like new little things. Like when I showed you about now it says BAL and P&L on the list in the chart of accounts, we would talk about like those like little new things. So that's typically what my segment is. But today's segment, today we're doing a special recording all about recertification, which I didn't even talk about today. But for those of you who are needing to recertify, then the recertification materials from Intuit have dropped. They dropped on April 28th. And I have to say, like, they are getting better. They are getting better. There are now videos of bookkeepers and accountants actually demonstrating the things in QuickBooks, which is amazing. Like, if you watch my videos, like, that's what I'm doing. That's what we did today. Like, we talked and then I demonstrated, right? And so that's what they have that now in the Pro Advisor Academy. So that is really nice. But if you still want our interactive, Brenda says they've been watching me. maybe, I don't know. I have never talked to them. But but if you want our level of interactiveness, like if you want our, there's still a lot of words to read through. And, I started this company because I am not a good reader. I don't learn well from reading. I learn from hearing and doing. And so that's why all of our exercise, that's why we're all learning. And, we don't read as much. We have very little reading. We are listening, we're watching videos, and we're actually doing things hands-on. So if you would like our help, those materials will be available no later than May 15th, hopefully sooner, so we can get your hands on them. And let's see. Lindsay says, I was wondering the same thing, if they notice what Marge is doing and are taking note. They do have a version of the Quick Notes. I was excited, actually. I was like, what is this download? But it's not the Quick Notes. It's just a list of all of the changes in QBO, which is still actually a really valuable download. But it doesn't help you pass the test in the way our Quick Notes do. So, all right, guys. Well, that's it. I'm going to take a quick break before I get on the phone. Before I get on with Alicia, but then also today I was going to tell you is that we're starting to plan the Seattle event. So there will be for those of you who are in the Seattle area, the first week, or it's the last week in June, first week in July, like July 4th is the Friday or Saturday. So it's like sometime in that week. We haven't picked a date yet. But that week before, we're going to do a live event. And so I have a meeting this afternoon. We're going to start planning that. So if you're in the Seattle area or you want to travel to the Seattle area, come and join us. It's going to be fun. And I love to meet you guys face to face. Joanna I know there's somebody else in the group that is in Midlothian, so maybe we'll have to have like a little Richmond area meetup too. So anyway, all right, that's it, guys. You have a fantastic weekend. I will see you on Monday for This Week at Acadian, and I can't wait to hear your success story.